Hello, the game has started. It's me to go first. So, a balanced rack, all different tiles, but too many high-scoring ones to have a bingo. F and W are the least bingo-y. So, I can play flew for 20. I could also play few, but I don't think the L helps this rack by 2 points. Let me just put this back. Do I have anything longer? Because this is pretty grim. I don't think I can get rid of all 3 big tiles, but I can play wifed, and I think the extra score is going to justify this. Wifed for 32. Well, close to a bingo. I'm not seeing a 7. Let me consider the floaters. Nothing with W or I. F, E, D. No, not seeing a bingo, but I do have the P for score, and the rack is balanced. Could there be a bingo through a different floater? Oh, wow, what a start for opponent. Double. If only I'd played flew. Oh well. Now, there are new floaters to consider, so how about an A? No, I'm not expecting there to be one, but it's important to go through the exercise. How about N? No. E already considered. R? No. So what to do here? My P can go next to an E. Do I have anything down from the W? Well, I have WOP, but I can't get that doubled. And it would be nice to play off the G and the P. G not particularly bingo-y. So what about down from this spot? Well, not with getting rid of the P. I've got glop at the top of column 4. So what about peg? I think that leaves the best rack lead. Scores over 20 points, which isn't far off what I would have got elsewhere. Okay, I am going with this. So be toiled onto a D, which I've just blocked. A few floaters to consider. I'm not seeing a 7. What about this A? Well, I'm really looking for a floating consonant, I think, with 4 vowels on my rack. N, no. R. Gosh, I think bolletry is good with double L. Well, that's not going to work. I've got bio and telly as prefixes. Neither of those are suggesting anything. So I've got the B for score, and column 4 is still available. LE not good. So I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing any great plays. Do I have any 5-letter plays, regardless of whether they used the B? Nope, not seeing one. Peg, for future reference, takes H and S. Opponent taking a while on their play. Am I about to be hit by a back-to-back bingo? I am not. Okay, 16 points for opponent. That's good. So how to sort this rack out? I've got Obe here for 20 points. Nice rack lead, probably the best I can get. Obe takes S and Y at the end. Yeah, and I trail, so it's good to keep the board open. Let me briefly put this back. Am I absolutely sure there's no bingo with this rack? The R is still available. Be loiter, be toiler, neither of those is good. I've got the ibble ending with toe. No, not seeing anything. Anything new created for the W? Omer is good, but I don't have anything to go in front of ER. So I think OBE is the play for 20. So, is Melite good? I think it is. Does it play? Nope, I don't think it does. So, what to do? I suppose one thing I could have done last turn was play Betoiled as a non-bingo. 36 points. I think that would have been a better play. However, that's the past, and this is now. Anything with the A. Double L, not a great combo. Lots of short words with double L, but not many long ones. Mel Elite is good through an I. Now, do I have anything this turn onto ED as a non-bingo? Not that I can see. I trail by 30 with opponent on turn, so I'm about a bingo behind. BE takes an O in front. What about ER? Not seeing anything there. I think Mobe is good. Now, any hot spots for my M? Mam is good, Pem isn't, but can I extend a play in column 7? Don't think so. I have Millet as a 6-letter play just to sort the rack out, were that to be playable somewhere. Opponent again taking a while on their play, as is their right. And their move last turn of FAR after a long wait suggests that they may well be hanging on to 5 good tiles, which would have been an argument in favour of Obe as opposed to Betoiled, but I think the score from Betoiled would have justified that play as being better, regardless of opponent's play. I'm still looking at this A in case I have a bingo I've overlooked, but it's not come to mind. So, wow, interesting. Very low score for opponent, and Geo takes an A front hook, so I feel that they are jolly close to a bingo. Now, did I have a candidate play in mind? I don't think I did. So I could interrupt opponents. Well, that's awful. Melt takes an S in front, and that whole play doesn't score very much. Lim isn't good. Mill is. What about this? 14 points while I'm setting up column 8, so that just doesn't feel right. Do I have anything through AI or beginning with G? I have Gimlet, but that doesn't reach the double word square. Very tricky position to be in. I wonder if Midwifed is good. I don't have those all of those tiles this turn, but it's a nice option. Now, Pell and Mal are both good. So I have Pele sorting out the duplicates. 16 points. I think that's better than anything I've considered so far. This isn't a great 5-letter set. 14 minutes on my clock. And I'm keeping the board open. I feel I should be playing in column 4. But what is the play? Now, have I also considered AI? And what about column 8? Milited isn't good. Gosh, so close to lime lit, if my E were an I. Not that that would play anywhere. Okay, well, I need to do something. I'm going to go with Pele for 16. I have Lithemia onto an A. I don't think I have a 7 with this rack. Now, surely opponent's going to bingo after 2 lowish scoring moves. And if they play in row C, I'm not going to have Lithemia. I've got 2 good scoring tiles in H and M, so I should have options. And I'd like to sort out the duplicate I. I have an H for peg. So if I did have a bingo, it would currently play in column 10. Yeah, there goes opponent's bingo. So any new floaters, just the D. I've still got 2 out of the 3 tiles for midwifed. 2 Ds to come. Just wondering if I do have a 7 here. I'm not feeling optimistic, but sometimes they can take a while to pop up. I'm not seeing one. So what about column 8? I don't think I can get H or M after the N. But is there a way of getting both of them to play in some position in column 8? Don't think so. All I can see is hint. 24 points, which is a wretchedly low score. Any other floaters to consider? Well, what about doing this him for 26? I don't think it's worth hanging on to the H for the peg H hook because the H isn't bingo-y enough. This is offering scoring options. So what do I have that's better? What about a play in row D? What about playing mile here? Keeping hit, which scores 1 more point, does retain the H for peg, avoids the row A opportunities, which him provided. M works quite well with my rack leave in terms of column 1 plays, and just overall this keeps the board open. I'm going with this. Wow! Always fun to draw a blank and an S in one go. So I have Skaiths, which does play in column 10 in 2 spots, and also row N, so I am bingoing. What about column 1? Makeshift is a 9-letter play, so I don't have that. Great, just 30 points for opponent. So I trail by 110. Let's make some inroads into that. Skaiths and peg H sticks an S in the middle of row A, but does get the K tripled. I have Bahaktes. which gets the H doubled and puts a B in the middle of row A. Maybe that's the play. Or maybe this is the play. S in second place, not particularly dangerous. A run of 3 consonants limits scoring potential in column 1. 98 points is 98 points. So I am minded to go with this. And I draw 7 random tiles, which include the J, but I've got Jug and Jew on my rack. I've got Jun in column 8 at the top for 30 points. I have Cajun onto an N, not this one. I'm just wondering if Derain takes an E. It may do, in which case I have J-E-U. Oh, wow, just as I was relishing being within 10 points of opponent, they slapped down another bingo. So I'm back to trailing by a bingo. And my Jun spot has also gone. New ends introduced, neither available for Cajun. I have Gorgie on my rack, which does play in row B for a lowly score and putting an E under this double letter square, so that's not good. But it's nice to spot. Does it play anywhere else? Not through any of the letters of untoned. Wow, these are, well, I guess it's fairly close to a bingo. Is there any way back for me in this game? Not seeing anywhere good for Jug. Jougs has got a sticky S. I guess I've got Jut for 26 points. And although this rack leave isn't great, it is balanced. I'm threatening a 5-letter J play next turn. I'm only turning over 2 tiles, which is good since I trail. And I think 26 points is pretty decent. But am I missing something better? Is there something running across of untoned? Running across the top of untoned? I've got JU. But, well, I think I have to play off at least one of the U's. Is there any... Well, there is an O for Juco, but it's not better than Jut. Yeah, I'm going with Jut. Just wondering about putting an E on the end. How many E's to come? Just 2. I think the E is better on my rack. Great. I draw the Z, which offers scoring potential. So I've got this E of untoned, and I could play ZE, ZE, and Ed for a big score. Can't see a 5-letter play from the J, including the Z. I would need 3 E's for G's ending E. I've got C's on my rack. Do I have anything through this D? It would be so good to hit a 70-point Z play, but I think that's unlikely. Jute is good, but I don't think I can play my Z in row E. So at the moment, ZE or ZEE is looking good. Interesting choice between those two, because if I play just ZE, well, that opportunity's been taken out. 7 minutes on my clock, 26 tiles in the bag. There is not a lot of time. So I've also got Cuz on my rack. Oh, what a shame CED isn't good. That would have been nice. Don't think Cuz plays anywhere else. get is good, but I think opponent has taken out all my Z options. I don't want to play just Z because it's too easy to play in column 15. Oh, I don't have tiles to follow that. Don't have any 5-letter J plays regardless of playing the Z. 6 minutes on my clock. Through an R, I would have Gueretha. So, what about doing this? Zeta setting up a new lane. It's also a hot X spot, but if I draw the X, I've got XU. And if opponent plays there, they'll be opening up column 15. The trouble with this play is the horrible rack cleave keeping G and U. So, and also the score's pretty ropey, only 13 points. Just wondering if I've got any AZ plays. I've got Gauze on my rack. Does that play anywhere? Don't think it does. Gosh, I've got Hot has blocked Gaze. So that was a great play by opponent. DE is good. Hote is good, rather. 5 minutes on my clock. It's astonishing there's nowhere for Cuz. Three S's to come. I was just thinking about playing Zag. 31 points. It is splitting up G and U. 31 points. What about Jugi? Or am I making this up? I think I'm making it up. Only 26 points anyway. 4 minutes on my clock and 26 tiles to come. I'm going with Zag. So, evacuate through an A. What about anything with the J? I would need an I for Juvie. 50 points for opponent, and that's blocky. Okay. So this game is slipping away from me, having come back into it. Gosh, there is an A from Zag, but in the wrong spot for evacuate. Only 3 minutes on my clock. So I've got Vac here for 31. Wow, I draw the second blank. 26 for opponent. I've got Outweed. Does that play? I don't think it does. Where are the bingo lanes? 3 minutes on my clock. There's the A of Zags. And then there's the S from Pelade. I could do with opening a new lane. Opponents, well, there's ADE plays. And there's also column 9 for bingos ending in S. So 14 tiles left. How can I open a new lane? 2 minutes on my clock. And there's also CH plays. But my priority really is playing off W and U if I can. Word is good. And I don't want to block bingo lanes. Gosh, this is tricky. I think I'm going to play Judd to draw opponent away to the top right. Judd for 11. So, anything beginning with A, no. Anything beginning with S, no. Anything with CH, no. I do have lots of bingos on my rack. I'm not going to go through them because they don't play. So can I open up row A? And if not, where can I at least play off the W? 2 minutes on my clock, 11 on opponents. They've been playing on my time. I've got AW, but that takes out a bingo lane. I really want to create new ones. Interesting, Wad would have created a new lane. Well, no, it wouldn't, because Judd, the J, was in the way. Coys is good. Noid is good. But I don't have a D. 40 points for opponents. Definitely nothing ending in S. So, 8 tiles left, only 4 vowels. What about doing this, keeping the most balanced rack, which goes well with the A and with, well, all the bingo lanes? I'm going with this. Oh, wow, and I draw F and V. Wretched, wretched bag with 2 S's unseen and opponent bingos. Okay, well, I think that's the end of this game. Over 500 points. Over fast through an A or an S. No tiles left, so do I have a bingo with this rack? Left over, but very few floaters to consider. There's the T, nothing. R, no. I, no. And that is it. And A and I, no. So my race is run. That FV draw was the killer. And opponent, well, they've got 6 tiles, but they're pretty balanced. 45 seconds left. I'm just going to play 5s for 22, and then I do have an out with OT. Have I given opponent an out? And if not, where's best to play OT? I've only got 30 seconds on my clock. Well, opponent does go out with soberly. And the final score, 353 to me, 542 to opponent, a winning margin of 189 points. So well done to opponent. Let's see what I missed. Wow, that was pretty savage stuff. I felt I was jolly close to opponent, and I think at one point I was observing that I was within 10 points, and then the winning margin at the end, nearly 200. So that's the way it goes with Scrabble. It was me to go fast, and I made the fateful decision to play Wifed, which I think is probably the right one, but opponent has Remine on their rack and has a choice of bingos. My rack, no bingo for me. Golpy, that's nice. B4. Yeah, I would have played that if I'd seen it. Instead, I go with Peg for 1 fewer point. Very little between those. Opponent plays Far. Yeah, and this is where I should have played Betoiled and didn't. I went with OBE for 20. Slightly better rack lead, but not 16 points better. Opponent plays Geo. G7. Pelmet. Oh, wow, because of ERM, of course. Pelmet, that would have been nice, 22 points, but look how slim the pickings are. Pelmet is the only player above 20. I go with Pele for 16. Opponent's rack, and this is where they bingo with Darain, which was a nice find. And I'm down 100. I thought about him and then changed to mile for reasons stated. Opponent's rack. They play Mopane. And now my hopes were raised because I have Skaiths for 98. And look at this. Let's just pause here and relish the fact that I'm within 7 points of opponent, and it lasted about 3 nanoseconds because opponent got down untoned, and I'm back to trailing by a bingo with a really tricky rack. Judge. Yeah, Judge opening column 15, quite nice. What do? I played Jut for 26. Interesting. Difficult to choose between those because Judge sets up a hotspot top right and a hotspot lower right, which is volatile. But my rack leaves really poor, so it's not a case of opponent gets one and I get the other, because opponent may well get the better of it. Opponent with the cue. Interesting, could have played it for 44 points. L1, keeping a decent rack lead, and instead plays hot for 26. Maybe opponent's thinking was that they only lead by 100, or only lead by a bingo and wanted to shut down lanes. I don't know. Gaze, F12. Nog Eater. Wow, that would have been the play. What do? I play Zag for 31. Yep, Gaze would have been better. Now, great rack for opponent. They can burn 1S very cheaply because they have the other one remaining on their rack. Now I play Vac for 31. I could have played They for fewer points, keeping a more balanced rack. Probably not much between those. Opponent plays Koi. And now I'm still not out of it. I only trail by 92, and I've got the second blank, and I am sitting with a bingo on my rack, but I couldn't see where to play it. And there was no playable bingo. So I played Judd for 11, B12. Oh, wow, yeah, Jew would definitely have been better. Just looking at the points, 35 points and an okay rack leave, so Judd was a bad play. Sets up opponent with Ixia. But I still have a decent rack, but no bingo. Interesting, Coyote, I think that would have been the play, opening up a new lane. I didn't consider that. I play U, and opponent has a bingo, and this sealed the deal for them, 72 points. I have drawn 2 tiles, and the 2 tiles I drew were F and V, either one of which may have given me a bingo, but together they don't. So I played 5s for 22. And opponent went out with Soberly and also had Obesely. And that was the end of the game. So absolutely brutal stuff. Opponent with nearly 550 points and a whole stream of bingos with Derain, Untoned and Nitrals, and of course Anti-Mir as a double-double to get the action going. So it's been quite a brutal week, two drubbings, but that's the way it goes in Scrabble. I'm watching the North American Championships at the moment, and there are some savage runs of luck. One of the top players yesterday I noted had only 2 wins out of 7, and that's somebody who's incredibly consistent and somebody I look up to as a superior player. So Scrabble just is a thrilling game with some really roller coaster rides, and although you can influence that by your skill level, and it's always easy to look on errors as being responsible for what happens. Even if you played perfectly, there would still be major runs of luck in both directions. Anyway, many congratulations to opponent on their victory in this game. I hope you enjoyed watching the game. Like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time.